case 3 is px plus q over ax plus b, like we normally have, and then cx squared plus b. This is a lowercase c. All these guys down below are lowercase. You're welcome. How does this one look different? The actual x itself is squared. Does that make sense? Rather than the whole linear thing being squared, it's the x only is squared. Okay, so do you see the difference? Somewhat. So something like this. Okay, now how do I rewrite this? A over what? X minus 1. And then what do I write for the next piece of this? Bx plus c over x squared plus 2. All right, have I lost anybody or are we cool? Okay, now we have to get a common denominator. So what am I multiplying a by?
X squared plus 2.
Okay, x squared plus 2. And what am I multiplying bx plus c by?
X minus 1.
Yeah, and I do me a favor, take the bx plus c and put it in parentheses. Why would I do that? So you end up distributing if you have to, yeah. So you don't think it's just c times x minus 1. You see the difference? Okay, so my new guy is 8 plus 2x minus x squared, a times x squared plus 2, plus bx plus c in parentheses times x minus 1. Do we feel okay or no? What do you let x be for this guy? What's the first x?
1.
1 is, I would say yes. Because it gets rid of what?
X plus C.
The bx plus c, right? So we're left with just a. Let's see if I can math right this time. Let x be what?
Negative 1/2 squared. I meant square rooted.
We don't want
One.
that. What's a really nice number that usually works for us?
0.
And what would 0 get rid of?
B.
It would get rid of b, right? And we already know a, so what would we be solving for? The c, yeah, okay. So let x be 0. I think that's cool for everyone, right? Did you get -2 for C? Check my math. Lord knows, I brought beauty with me today and not my brains. Can't carry both, they're too heavy. One or the other, and it was beauty today. All right, how do you feel about my C? I'm gonna assume it's right. It is. I mathed correctly this time. Okay, now, how do I go about finding the last unknown, which is B? Let X be what?
Just do 0 again.
We used 0 already, can't use it again.
Oh,
Ben, tell me more.
2. Can't be 1, right?
Did we already use 1?
Yeah.
We already used 1, can't use 1 again.
-1.
So we use 1, we use 0, so last resort would be 2 or -1. I don't wanna go negative if I don't have to. Could you use 10 if you wanted to? Absolutely. I would suggest try to keep it small. So we have 8 plus 2 times 2, so we'll let X be 2. Minus 4 is equal to, I know A is 3, and then 2 squared plus 2. I don't know B, but it's times 2. Yeah. And then plus C, which is minus 2. And then 2 minus 1 is 1. All right, we're feeling good. That's 2 times 2 is 4 minus 4, so that's 8. Check my math. Hello. Yeah, no problem. -4. Yeah. So our final answer would be A is 3, and then B was -4, and C was -2. What do you think? Over these guys, whatever. Are you guys cool? I'll write it out better. Equals 3 over x minus 1, and then I could be really clever. See how I did that? Each of them were negative, so I pulled a negative out and negated the other two. Bye. All right, how do we feel? We don't feel or we do feel? Okay, I got last case. You ready? Is it ringing now? When does it ring? 51, we're good. The last case, case 4, is actually kind of one that I've never called a case, but I guess it does make sense as calling it a case. Okay, it's called the improper fraction case. What does improper fraction mean? Fraction that's greater than 1, but if I'm thinking about it in terms of quadratics, what do you think the top would be? Top would be what? Higher exponential power of the same. Does that make sense? And in the past, when we had the numerator exponential power bigger or the same, what do we have to do? Long divide. Exactly the same thing now. So, that's why I never really called it a case. Does that make sense? So let's say we're doing 2x squared plus 5x minus 11 divided by x squared plus 2x minus 3. What would we do first?
Long divide.
Long divide. Yeah, not a trick question. Kind of felt like one for a second there, but. So x squared plus 2x minus 3 goes into, and I'm going to tell you on the paper 3 tests, sometimes paper 2 as well, they won't come out and actually ask you to long divide anything, but they'll assess you in the long division aspect of it with something like this. where you have to go, oh, I have the same exponential power, let me long divide it. And that'll be the way they test that you know how to long divide. Does that make sense? Because that was like chapter 1. But they want to assess that you know how to do it, and this would be your opportunity, their opportunity. Okay, so that goes in there how many times? 2 times, so we have 2x squared plus 4x minus 6. And then we're left with x minus 5. Is that what you guys got too? So to rewrite this, it's 2 plus x minus 5 over x squared plus 2x minus 3. So this, there's really not a whole lot I can do with it. Does that make sense? However, this, what we've been doing. So what would we do with the denominator first and foremost? Factor it, right. So I would have 2 plus x minus 5 over x, 3, 1, positive, negative. And could you partial fraction decomposition this guy right here? And what case is it, by the way? Case 1, right. Okay. Just at the end, don't forget you have a 2 that needs to tag along at the end, right? So I have x minus 5 over x plus 3 times x minus 1 equals a over x plus 3 and b over x minus 1. All right, how do we feel? Is anybody feeling nobody's lost, right? Good. In fact, you probably could feel comfortable doing it without me.
Yeah.
How do we feel? Good? How'd that go?
Whoa, you do. Whoa.
Well,
Don't break fast.
did I lose somebody? How do we feel? Like I taught you something pretty easy today? Good, because we're gonna use it tomorrow when I teach you the next part of the lesson.